live.thesecrethub.com. Thursday night tonight, 16th of June. The year is almost, it's probably just almost halfway gone. Give it another couple of days and I'll be right. Yeah, halfway gone. Well, it goes fast.
You're halfway gone.
Oh no, I'm just thinking about all the Skype issues that everyone has all the time, but hopefully I think we've fixed them up. Everything sounds to be pretty quiet on the Western Front, so we'll better hurry up and get the show over before we strike any more problems. So let's say g'day to Eric and Will. Hey boys, how you doing?
Hi mate.
How we going, Glenn?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, Will. Yeah, so what's news this week? Anything exciting going on up there in where are you, Will? Doonandella?
Doodle and Della.
Doodle and Della.
Yeah, DOOLANDELLA.
Oh, how are things going up there?
Yeah, not too bad. Having a few technical dilemmas, as you know, from we recorded TBT earlier today and had Skype issues then as well. But yeah, getting there.
Yeah, I think this is actually, as I was just saying before, this is about the quietest Skype back noise that we've had for quite some time, which is good. So I hope everyone can appreciate the quietness. And Eric, how's things going down in old Sydney town?
It's been raining non-stop.
Yeah, and good result in the State of Origin last night.
You know what? I got bored. I turned it off. I did a 12-minute grab and put it up on live stream, but that's about it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was probably one of the better games that I'd seen for a while, actually. Not just because New South Wales won, but it just had my interest at half time still, and everything was rocking and rolling. So yeah, I was having fun.
It's amazing what happens when you got decent refs.
Yes, true.
Oh, hey, I don't know. I can't remember if my brother-in-law was doing the line last night. I forgot to ask him.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, let's get moving on. So if you want to, you can ring in to the show live.thesecrethub.com. You can ring in on Skype, Aussie Tech Head. Follow me on Twitter, Aussie Tech Head. Follow Will at Eric Franco, and follow Eric at Eric Franco, and Will at Mr. Tompkinson on Twitter.
All right, Eric at AussieTechHeads.com.
.au, and Will or Glenn at AussieTechHeads.com.au, and also you can still follow us all on the Empire Avenue. How are your shares, Will?
I don't know. I don't even look anymore.
They've plummeted. Let me tell you.
That's probably why I don't look anymore.
They've plummeted. And
to be honest, I mean, I can see it's a great, I can see its potential, but for one, I have no understanding or comprehension of how a share market actually works. And secondly, to be honest, it doesn't really interest me. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, I'm still above the $10 baseline.
That's all right, but I've dumped you anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I dumped your ass too, Will.
There's no point. See, is there really any point dumping somebody? Because
yes,
if I bought in at $10 a share, as long as they're still above $10 a share, I'm still making money.
Yes, but you've got to know when to get out and when to get in.
At $10 a share.
Yeah, well, hopefully more. But all right, let's move on. We got any stories going tonight? One of you guys can start if you want.
All right, you want me to? Might be can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
This might be, if anyone in the lounge is interested. How many people we got there? Okay, good few people there. It's nearly the 30th of June, and you might be looking for tax deductions, people.
Yes.
So, tax time secrets. Do you know where your tech deductions are? So we'll go through that, shall we?
Yes, for sure.
Quick one. It's a long article. You can read it on apcmag.com. And the basic summary is this.
So these are deductions for what people pretty in the tech industry kind of thing?
In the tech industry, or technology expenditure, regardless of what industry you're in, I suppose.
Right, yes.
If you're in a business, you've got a small business, whether it be a company, for example.
Yes.
Anything that's under $1,000, you can write off straight away, pre-30th of June. If you're not a small business, you can only write off anything up to $300. So some people go and buy iPads for $1,000 and whatnot, think, get a tax deduction for $100, for the whole lot. And then they go to their account and they go, no, you're not a business. We have to depreciate this, and you get 1 day's depreciation because you bought on the 30th of June,
yes.
which is 20% of 1,000 divided by 365.
Can't you whack it down as a repair?
No. Well, you could, but you'd get found out pretty quickly.
I had to repair my hard drive, my graphics card, my motherboard.
No. Well, see, the tax office aren't that stupid. People know you don't repair those things; you replace them.
Well, true. But if it's under 300, like if you were to buy a computer, you'd have to depreciate. But if you bought a hard drive, you could write it off.
Yeah, but there is a trick. If you put together a computer that its components together added up to $2,000, but separately they're all under $300.
Yes.
Then you write each component off separately.
Yes, that'd be the go, wouldn't it?
That'd be the go.
Yeah.
So that's.
And how about while you're there on giving out tax tips? How would you go with buying the magazines like APC and PC
That's all
World?
right.
Yeah, but I mean like
subscription, 12-month subscription.
No, say you do it under $50, you don't have to keep a receipt. Do you say, oh yeah, I've just bought 12 of them this year?
Well, because I'm licensed, I can't say yay or nay to that.
Okay. All right. Well,
I would suggest
if it's part of your
seats.
If it's part of your work or your business or whatever, then anything pertaining to that, then yes, you can.
Oh, that's all right. But I think what Glenn's suggesting is that he doesn't actually go and buy it.
Maybe not. No, I wasn't suggesting that. It's just.
It's just saying because sometimes you buy things and you lose the receipt, so you're allowed to claim up to a certain amount without receipts.
Lots of people go and buy. Look, for example, I used to subscribe to APC, right? It's $65 a year. I did that for about 2 years, and I found that I only ever read every second or third issue. I was getting bored, so now I just buy it if I find there are some things in it that interest me. Right?
Yes. So
I might buy $10 a copy. And it's $120 over a year instead of $65 by subscribing. So I'm saving $60 by subscribing, but I only probably buy 3 a year or 4 a year. So to me, I just put down $40. I don't have receipts for that, but I do buy them, and I put down that I've paid for it.
Yeah,
because I'm a shocker for that. I'm forever losing receipts.
And plus, half the time,
I have receipts. I put everything on my credit card. It's a lot easier to account for.
Well, true, and also half the time you don't even get receipts anyway. Like I might have $10 in my wallet, so I'll go in and buy a magazine, and then you get out and you go, oh, I should have got the receipt off them.
That's right.
Yeah. But anyway,
I never even thought about using your bank statement as your receipt.
Yeah, if you're doing FPOS or credit card, a lot of the time that will be sufficient for amounts under $300. So go through your 12 months worth of bank statements. The relevant 12 months. Don't go through last year's stuff.
Yeah. So all right, I'll keep going. Any more tax tips or
prepay expenses? Now this is not ideal for everybody. And the example here I don't necessarily agree with too. For example, he's suggesting you prepay internet or mobile broadband expenses. I wouldn't do that because what if they're crap? If I prepaid Vodafone, I'm screwed. They're not going to give my money back, right? If I decide to leave. So that sort of thing, you prepay. You wouldn't prepay. Some of the things you would prepay, things like Carbonite, $75 for the year. Bang, do it on the 30th of June, $75 tax deduction, and you use it for 12 months. Antivirus software, for example, buy that on the 30th of June. That's all. That stuff's okay.
But it doesn't matter when you buy it, though, does it? Really? Like if you intend to use it for more than 1 year, well, it's all going to.
It doesn't matter if you know that these things you've got to buy anyway.
If you're jostling for deductions,
you might as well do it before June 30.
Yeah.
For people who've got trading stock, it's all you do is make sure you've got a stock take, and you do a stock take, and you look at your, when you're doing your stock take, you throw out all the stuff that's you can't sell or it's busted, and or you sell them as sample and you write them off to zero. So there's a good tax alert.
Oh yeah, and you also they're saying in the lounge there that you can also get education deductions for kids at school, $1,000 in high school and $700 primary.
Well, yeah, that's a bit tricky. You go to the tax office website ato.gov.au and type in education expenses and have a look at that. They're fairly complicated and it doesn't sound as easy as that. Even though they are available, just make sure that what you're doing is available to you, because there are a few different types that could be available to you.
Right. Yep.
It's not a one glove fits all situation.
Okay. And what was the other one? Oh, someone else, Disgruntled Tech, has asked in the lounge here, can you take a photo of your receipt?
Yes, as long as they're stored on a hard drive. Yes, that's fine.
Yeah.
They actually, some of the places like Supercheap and that who actually do the thermal printed receipts, they actually recommend you take a photo of them and store them away because in 12 months' time the receipt will be no good.
That's right.
How do you reckon?
I know any email, if you buy stuff online, you get emailed receipts, that sort of stuff. I tend to just put that straight in a folder that says receipts.
But I guess, like, at the end of the day, if you get the tap on the shoulder and say, show us the receipt, and you haven't got it, well, if you bought something from Apple, you'd more than likely be able to go back to them and say, can I have a receipt, please?
Yeah, that's easy.
It's probably
it's only when you make up stuff, you know.
Yes, that's right. But have you finished with that? Sorry, Eric?
And most important of all, good record keeping.
Yes. So go and get yourself what would you recommend, a package? Or I think Tax has got e-tax, haven't they?
A few weeks ago, we had a package that I think Will came up with, which was pretty good and inexpensive. But the ones I suggest to my clients, because it's easy for me to work with, and it tends to be easy for them a lot of the time too, is MYOB.
Yes.
Which is quite expensive. But if you're a small business and you're turning over a few $100,000 a year, and forking out $700 is not a big deal.
Yeah. I was talking about BizWiz. That's the one I was talking about, which is, it's not great. It doesn't structure well for large organisations. It is designed purely for the mum and dad business with a handful of employees.
There's another mob that you can do online called freshbooks.com. I've tried them. And if you're a small business turning over under $100,000 a year, and you've only got three clients that you contract to, that's free. And it's perfect, and it does Aussie dollars, and anyone in the world can sign up to FreshBooks, and they've and as soon as you say you're from Australia, it automatically fills in your template with the GST and everything. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
And Mint is another one.
Oh, is that Australia-based one?
That's by Intuit, who does
that's
QuickBooks.
Reckon. Yeah, I don't use Reckon.
I'm pretty sure they do. Oh, hang on, let me just check. They've just pulled it.
I know they do in the States.
They were doing it. Hang on, let me just double check that.
Monoro's just put in the lounge.
Yeah, I used to use QuickBooks, and in fact, I still do for a couple of things. But I found that I changed to MyOb for
it's pus, isn't it, compared to MyOb?
Yeah, look, it's not too bad, but MyOb seems to be a little bit easier. The thing that I didn't like with Quicken, and probably MyOb's going to be the same, is that Quicken you had to reactivate every 2 years. Because I didn't buy the tax tables.
No, MyOb's not the same. You don't have to upgrade. You can buy a copy. And the only reason they ask you to upgrade, if you want the payroll tax tables loaded in, you upgrade every year.
Yeah, well, I did that. Say with a third party online software, the payroll.
Yeah, you calculate that. But my old man, he's got MyOb that's 10 years old because he doesn't pay anyone, right? He just runs his super fund through it, and he still uses that. And he paid for it once 10 years ago because he's a tight prick.
Well, that's pretty good. But I'll tell you, someone that's not happy with the MyOb, incidentally, is those who have bought it who are over in Britain. Well, get this for pretty bad sort of stuff, I reckon. British users of MyOb have been warned that the accounting software they purchased will stop working at the end of the year. Now, due to a corporate takeover of the company's UK operations, the UK arm of MyOb was bought by Mammoth in 2008. After MyOb decided to leave the UK to refocus its efforts on the home Australian market. Now, Mammoth has provided support for MyOb products for 2 years, but the company will deactivate any MyOb software in the UK at the end of the year.
I don't understand that because
it's rubbish, isn't it?
They paid, I don't know what they paid, but the MyOb business in the UK was pretty substantial, and they would have paid, let's call it $5 million, right?
Yeah. So
after 2 years, you're just going to shut it down and lose all your customers, and you've just forked out $5 million.
Yeah, for copy protection and licensing reasons, MyOb software checks in with a web server every time it loads, and this system will be used to deactivate it on the 31st of December 2011.
Oh, look, just get someone who knows how to code to get into that and deactivate that thing.
You know what it is? They don't want to pay for the secure servers anymore. That's what it'd be.
But why wouldn't you just let what's wrong with just letting the software
Just let it run.
age? That's
Why?
right.
They want to convert them to their own software. That's why.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, so anyway,
we've got a database here, and we're going to roll them all over into our software, which is going to cost more, I bet.
but anyway, the guy, some Brian Richter from Mamut, country manager for the UK, said
Okay,
customers.
with a name like that, I'm not buying any software called My Mutt.
No, it's MAMUT. Said customers had been given 4 years to make the switch, which is a long time, but still, if you buy some software outright, you want it to go until you decide to stop using it.
That's right.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I see a class action lawsuit happening there.
Yeah, well,
because, as you say, you buy something, you don't get to use it. Well, why should you have paid for it?
Yeah, it's like fair enough that the pay tables and the tax tables might, become obsolete and stuff, but maybe some people don't use that. It remains unclear how many customers will be affected by the move. At the time of the Mamut acquisition in 2008, there were 20,000 active MyOb users in the UK.
What's that all?
20,000. Well, times that by $400 a copy. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but I'm surprised it's only 20,000. I would have thought it'd be much larger. I wonder what they use over there then.
Well, that was when they took it over. So, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? But I suppose what they're also saying that it would depreciate quite rapidly after MyOb stopped servicing it, because they've got all the VAT rules. They're probably changing every 2 seconds as well. Everything's probably going on. But yeah, I just picked that out. I just thought it was a bit rude, so I thought I'd you.
All right. Well, okay, that's all right. You can be rude, but just one last thing.
Yes.
Especially the people listening, don't buy something if you don't need it. Everyone says, get a tax deduction, get a tax deduction. Yeah, but you spend $1,000, say for your company, right? You spend $1,000, your refund, you're only saving $300.
That's right. That's right.
Unless you really need it, you're still out of pocket $700.
Yeah, that's right. Because you're only getting back, say, approximately a third average.
If you're in a company, you're only getting back 30%.
Yeah,
because of the tax rate.
Yeah, so you're still forking out, as you say. Yeah, $700.
You're out of pocket $700. Now, cash flow is everything. If you don't need it, keep $1,000 in your pocket.
That's right.
You're better off paying tax at 30% and keeping the $700 rather than being out of pocket $700.
Exactly.
I'd prefer to work it so I get money instead of having to pay money.
Yeah. So if you don't need it, don't buy it.
That's it, right.
Things like iPhones, anything under $1,000 if you're a company. If you can get a phone under $300 if you're an individual, good luck. I don't know if you will.
Now, Apple's relaxed one of its little Apple taxes, or little rule. Apple has dropped its requirement for publishers to offer paid content through the App Store on the same or better terms than offered elsewhere. Did you guys hear about that?
No, I heard about it. I didn't read the story though. So
meaning that publishers will no longer be forced to sacrifice profits by participating in the App Store, where Apple takes 30% of subscriptions. They're taking a leaf out of the ATO. It has also relaxed a rule that publishers must only offer their apps for sale through the App Store and not, for example, on their own website. However, apps may not directly link to external e-commerce platforms.
Let me tell you, that's not Apple being good blokes. That's the United States Justice Department Antitrust Division saying, do this or I'm going to fuck you.
Thank you. And hey, I'll edit that one out.
Editors cut here.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it was Apple's hand was forced, from what I believe, it looks like from News Limited. And I'd say maybe News Limited had a quiet word in their ear and said, listen, well, you heard of those antitrust things? Well, we've got one in the suitcase.
Know all about antitrust. They've been up against them many, many times. They were up against them before they were allowed to buy the Wall Street Journal. So they would have said, we're going to the Justice Department if you don't relax your rules.
Yeah. So apparently that's good. I think that's good. I think that's fairer anyway, isn't it?
It's good. You can't have a monopoly like that.
That's right. Will, have you got a story?
Yeah, I was just flicking through the few of them that I had, actually, and I was trying to find something that I could sort of segue into, but I can't. So, however, it is US-based, so I guess that'll do. Okay, we all know YouTube and other video sites, and basically one of the common things is people, performing to other artists. They do their own performances, they do lip syncing, they do dancing, whatever, and use other people's audio. Well, there's now a case going before the US Senate well, actually, legal changes are currently before the US Senate, and it could make it illegal to create or post a video featuring lip syncing. So, for example, a guy did a Cubby Squires, who found fame after lip syncing to Beyonce's Single Ladies. He received 20 million hits. Now, under the new law, he could face 5 years in jail.
5 years?
For
Yeah.
lip syncing.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the songs they lip sync? They're garbage anyway.
Yeah, but that's not the point. That's the whole point of
I know it's not the point.
freedom of speech and creativity, license,
What about air
licensed
guitar?
creativity.
That's the
But
same.
the thing is, what it says is under this new law, whether you're a 9-year-old or a 90-year-old, you're still accountable for that law. So regardless of how old you are, if you film your 10-year-old kid at a Christmas party singing jingle bells, then technically you've breached that law and you can be held accountable and your kid will be thrown in prison. That's the way the law is worded.
Why don't we breach that law now? What song should I play? And then we can all sing to it.
9 to 5, Dolly Parton. Woo.
I don't have that.
It's just stupid because
Yeah. I think there's a lot of stupid rules, and that's probably just another one. But are they really going to enforce that sort of stuff?
well, I mean, it's not difficult
It's
because
hard to
once they put it onto a site like YouTube, then it's automatically YouTube has algorithms, so they know straight up if you're putting up copyrighted material. It doesn't take long for it to go up. And then you've got record labels searching. You got record labels searching for it as well. And so as soon as they find something, they're just going to go,
Well, I suppose, but lip syncing to the original soundtrack, I could see that can violate the copyright because that's.
But hang on, what about karaoke bars?
But that's not.
Well, exactly.
No, that's different because they're not the original soundtrack. In most cases.
No,
Yeah,
that's
but
right.
a
But
copy of the original soundtrack, I'm sure, but aren't karaoke bars licensed to do that anyway?
yeah, but this is mainly pertaining to online use of the works.
Look, this is pathetic. This is the record industry. They can't help themselves. They're like the tax office. Grab. And, how many boats do you want to ski behind? I mean, for God's sake, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. They're just the place is just full of old fogies just trying to.
What about the common use license that the Americans use? What do you call that? Will?
Fair use.
Well, they've got
use.
the freedom of that's right. They've got the freedom of speech, and then they've got their fair use policy, and then they've also got their I can't think what the exact definition is, but they've got one if you're using something to make a point. Creative Commons, yeah. But there's another one too. If you're using something to make a point or to entertain.
Or, if you're a journalist and it's part of a story, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, but if you're doing something to entertain people, that comes under a parody clause, and parodies acceptable. So by this law going through,
Weird Al Yankovic, he's gone.
Hey.
No,
Weird Al Yankovic, he's gone.
No, Weird Al's different because he actually every single one of his songs is actually licensed by the actual people I do it from, but he's the exception rather than the rule.
But even though he's still not singing the same words, and probably the music is probably not the actual music.
The original soundtrack.
Yeah, it's not original.
Actually, because it's usually a lot of the time he'll actually get the actual band to do the backing vocals as well.
Well, I know with Michael Jackson, he got a clearance from him to do his stuff.
Yeah.
But I think
it's going to make things interesting because if you think about it, like I don't know if you remember the host of Spicks and Specs,
Adam Hills.
Adam Hill, he's only 1 foot.
Yeah, I know, one wooden leg. But
everyone keeps telling him to hop along.
He does a really awesome version of Advance Australia Fair to Working Class Man. Now, does that mean that he can no longer do that? I mean, okay, it's an Australian example in American law, but where do they draw the line? Because that's on YouTube.
That's right. Suddenly they've got to have different laws for different geographical locations. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, look, I don't know.
No, that's just garbage. Look, here's
As they reminded me in the lounge, Leo Laporte, who runs the Twit network, constantly comes up against this problem. They'll just throw something up at random, and it'll be, they'll do a screen grab or they'll do a 30-second snippet of a song or something like that, and YouTube is forever pulling his videos for copyright violation.
That's right.
Even though it comes under the fair use.
But even like a year ago now, I think Mark was doing a podcast, something or other, about songs, and he was actually using the clips from the iTunes store, the 30-second clips, and he devised some show where he'd say, okay, well, this is song A and song B, and look at the similarities like between them, as if that so much similarities that they've been copied, and then he got the letter and said
the cease and desist.
Yeah, get rid of it. But you go, but it's only the 30 seconds that you guys put out. Anyone can do anyway. They go, get rid of it.
Yeah, even though he was doing nothing wrong. That's right. And technically, they couldn't actually enforce that. But
no, but you're going to spend money to try it, to get it? No.
But that's the problem. You rely on corporations. You're going to follow their rules, aren't you? Well, and at the end of the day, I guess that's what it comes down to.
Oh, yeah, this is true.
If they say you can't do it, then you can't do it.
Now, through the week, everyone used Google, I would imagine. Did you see the Google guitar?
Les Paul.
That's him?
Isn't that awesome thing?
Yeah, so on the homepage of Google, there was actually an interactive guitar where you put your mouse over it, or you could use the keys and you could actually strum the notes and it would make a noise. So they did this because they were celebrating the 96th birthday of guitar legend Les Paul. The Google Doodle can be strummed like one of his famous Gibsons. Now, Les Paul is credited with the invention of the electric guitar and multi-track recording, which he unfortunately died in 2009. Now, just to show you how good this Google guitar, well, maybe not how good it was, but how good some people make all these type of things. Well, I've got this little piece here, and I'm just going to wait till it starts up. And now this guy, it's on YouTube, and I'll put a link in the show notes. Now he played Hey Jude on it. And it's quite interesting because like this is only, I don't know how many strings on the guitar it was.
They pulled this because that's a Lennon McCartney song.
Yeah, we'll have a little go though. He'll probably get it ripped off though, so we better get it while it's fresh.
Take a sad song and make it better.
So this guy's just sitting down at the computer, hitting the keys to
sing.
Yeah, he's singing it to strum the guitar on the Google homepage.
Remember to let her into your heart.
Shocking singer.
Then you can start to make it better. And hate you.
Well, that's enough of that. But you get the idea anyway. So, and apparently, I did another little YouTube search, and there's quite a few of them. People on there having a bit of a go. So,
the coolest part about that was it's come to light that the world spent 10.7 million hours playing the guitar. So they spent 10.7 million hours playing with Les Paul's Doodle.
Well, it's better than playing with the Wii U.
Yes. What is the Wii U? Before we get into a break.
The new Wii.
Is it any good?
There you go, the new Wii. The new number one.
It's an interesting looking device with a handheld, full-on screen, touchscreen, LCD thing. It looks like a steering wheel with a screen in the middle of it. It'll be interesting. They've gone the complete backflip from their basic entry-level, device that anybody can pick up and use to this thing.
I saw an ad on the TV the other day about some TV advertising a TV which had the remote control where you could wave it like a Wii wand, and you could wave at the TV.
Hey, you don't want to be waving it around.
No, you don't want to wave your Wii around.
You don't want to wave your Wii around.
No, you don't know where it'll land.
And in case you're wondering, today's Google Doodle is the total lunar eclipse, which is happening tonight.
To the heart.
Yeah, so Google always does these little things. I've actually put a link in the show notes if you want to have a look at the guitar, if you're too late and missed it.
Yeah, you can go to, what is it, google.com/doodles or something, and probably don't Google Doodles, but
No, but I did have the actual link. But yeah, it's in the show notes if you want it. So yeah, good stuff. All right, so one little quick one here. Where are we? I did have a little quick one. Do not call registers. Now, apparently, there's been a Gold Coast-based travel firm was ordered to pay a civil penalty of $120,000, and the court granted injunctions restraining this company and the director from making certain telemarketing calls in the future for a period of 5 years without first notifying the ACMA. So now apparently each call, she's done, 12,000 calls, and so she's got fined $120,000, so that's $10 a call. So
and how much have they made per call?
well, who knows? But anyway,
Exactly.
but she's been banned for 5 years. All right. Well, we're going to move in to the Audible ad. Eric.
Hello, everyone. Audible time.
Audible, yeah, baby.
Now,
What do we got?
people that like cars, Will, you like cars? You'll like it. It's called
Certainly
Billy,
do.
Alfred, and General Motors, which is basically a book about who started General Motors, when, where, how, and why. I haven't listened to all of this. I've got about halfway through, and the very interesting characters. One of them was quite careless and very, did a lot of things that were very, very risky. And the other one was the sensible one that tend to follow, do things properly. But together, they made General Motors. So here's a little grab.
This is Audible.
Audible Inc. presents Billy, Alfred, and General Motors.
Don't you love it when they give you the intro?
Two unique men, a legendary company, and a remarkable time in American history. Written by William Pelfrey. Narrated by Dixon Lane.
Introduction. What they wrought. They were opposites in all respects. William C. Billy Durant, the high school dropout, was the flamboyant dreamer and gambler, focused on personal relationships and risk. Alfred P. Sloan Jr., the MIT engineer, was the stern organizer and manager, focused on data and logic, not to mention profit. Billy managed to create General Motors in bold defiance of the industrial and financial powers of his day. Alfred went on to transform it into the largest and most successful enterprise the world had ever seen.
There you go. That's only a short grab, but
There's
very interesting book so far, halfway through. And it's not a very long book. I'll show you.
11 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
That's nothing. They get so interesting every time you play a little excerpt. I think I just want to hear the whole lot, because it's just like
Pretty much right on 11 hours. Yeah.
because I know people would probably say to you, oh well, why don't you just get the History Channel or the Bio Channel on the TV, then you can watch all this sort of stuff. But you can't watch the TV in your car, and you can't watch the TV when you go on the bed at night wanting to have a sleep. Like
You can't watch the TV when you're bloody, vacuuming.
That's right. But even that.
That one spot in front of the telly is going to be really, really clean.
That's right, and worn out. But that guy, he had a really relaxing voice. I could see myself listening to that as I drifted off to sleep each night.
Yeah. Well, I've been
Dixon
listening.
Lane's actually not too bad. He actually hasn't got many Audible books. The only one he's got on Audible is the proper care and feeding of zombies, a completely scientific guide to the lives of the undead.
Yeah, so
they're the two books he does.
but there's a wide range of books. And so did you have more on that, Eric, just to round him off?
On that particular book, or do you want another?
Yeah, no, just on that one. Had you finished with that?
No, I'm finished with that, but it's a good book. I suggest you click on the banner on aussietechheads.com.au, support Audible so they can support us and we can keep supporting you.
That's right. So there's a banner on the front of our page, aussietechheads.com.au, and if you click on that, you get a free book. Sign up for 14 days, get a free book, and then if you decide to participate in the scheme of monthly subscription, well, then you'll also help Aussie Tech Heads. So have a go. Help us out. Good stuff. All right, where are we going to now? Let's go to China. Are we going
Okay.
Let's go to China. 3 jailed over theft of iPad trade secrets. Now, you would have remembered a little while ago now, Jobsy was all up in arms about his iPad secrets getting stolen and little Chinese running around everywhere with briefcases under their arms and, little hiding in shadows. Well, a Chinese court sentenced 3 people to prison for collaborating to steal information from a key supplier regarding the Apple iPad 2 several months before its release. The court said here we go, Mr. Xio or Zao was sentenced to 18 months in prison.
How do you spell it?
Xiao.
Zhao.
Xiao. That'd be it. Xiao. Fined 150,000 yuan. And another dude was sentenced to 14 months, fined 100,000 yuan. And Miss Hu was sentenced to a year in prison, 30,000 yuan. I don't think 30,000 yuan is a lot, is it? Probably about $1,000
I don't buy about 6.5.
6.5 divided by 6.5, about
So about
$5,000.
$5,000.
Yeah.
Nearly 7. 6.8.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so they're finished. They're gone. They're gone to the slammer for a little while.
Oh, in a Chinese jail. Hey, that'd be nice and luxurious, wouldn't they?
That's right. And that was, that's right. That would be luxurious. Yeah, back to the wall, fellas. And what's going on in Queensland? Malfunctioning payroll system. Oh, you guys would have heard about this.
Malfunctioning state.
Yeah.
This all started last year when the government decided that their perfectly functioning payroll system needed to be replaced by a German-designed system that nobody knew how to use and was warned that it wouldn't work. So they spent, whatever it was, $250 million or something, rolling out this payroll system that, surprise, surprise, didn't work and nobody could figure out how to use it.
Oh, gee, I'm surprised. Governments?
I know.
So
Not
12
getting it
months, 12 months
Shock.
later, they've basically decided that, okay, now for $209 million, we can fix it, which basically entails going back to the old software that there was nothing wrong with in the first place.
I don't
So,
understand.
in other words, it's going to cost them nearly $500 million to go back to the old system.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That
someone
is just unbelievable. Taxpayers' money. That is just...
And they wonder why. They wonder why the healthcare system's got no money.
And because and someone's drawn a line straight to mental health, and have gone the payroll system, the malfunctioning payroll system, will cost Queensland Health $209 million, as Will said, to fix, more than it will spend improving mental health.
Yeah.
They're spending more on getting the payroll system working. Like, what's wrong with a decent copy of MyOb or something?
They've basically they've spent over the last 12 months, not including the original $200 million purchase price and the next $200 million to roll it out. They've spent $148 million over the last 12 months trying to fix it.
You know what? You know who'd be laughing? Oh,
What? I don't
guys
know.
that put it in were thinking $200 million and we didn't do anything.
Yeah, basically the German, I'm pretty sure it was German, they said this system will not work. Our system does not support shift work. It does not support on-call. It will not work in this application. And Queensland Health went, oh yeah, it will.
They know best. They know best. Maybe they should have spent a bit more on mental health before that
$1 billion.
person in charge.
$500 million.
Well, it's getting up that way.
You create. You know how many hospital beds you could put in? How many teachers you could hire?
When
how
you're
many
given that their budget's gone to $11.7 billion this year, which is $1.8 billion up on previous years.
Love Labor government. Go Labor. Woohoo!
But the fact that they spent $500 million, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. It's crazy. The payroll. What's this got here? The payroll patch up will cost 41% more, than what it was anticipated to originally cost. Crazy. That's why we're paying through the nose for water. Are you copping big water bills, Will? Oh yeah.
It's not too bad. It hasn't gone up as much as a lot of people are expecting it to. Power has though. Power's gone up 45% in 12 months and expected to go up another 45%.
Now, another one in Eric's court here. Labor's $100 million schools fibre program has quietly died. The Gillard government has quietly scrapped the $100 million fibre connection to schools initiative established to complement Labor's ambitious computers in schools rollout back in the Kevin 07 years. The high-speed connection was meant to cover schools outside the national broadband network footprint. A department survey last year showed that 6,147 out of 9,693 schools surveyed had a fibre connection. So that little project's gone ta-tas.
Yeah, well done, Labor. More waste of money. Woohoo!
Speaking of communications and Telstra, now this story I find quite amusing. So basically, Telstra has announced it's found an additional $800 million to invest in cloud computing over the next 5 years.
Okay, well, they had it there all the time.
Not only that they find $800 million, the funny part is I can't log on to my Telstra account to check my account balance because their website's been down for the last 2 weeks.
That's right.
And they can't email me a copy of my bill because they don't support that technology. They will fax it to me, though.
That's hopeless, isn't it?
They'll fax it to you? What are we, back in 1985? Back to 1985. Yeah, we'll fax it to you.
Yeah, it's dead set hopeless. It's hopeless. Yeah, what else is going on? Oh, Anonymous, that Spanish people have arrested Anonymous, members of the Anonymous group, over the denial of service attacks launched against Sony, and have raided a house where they've seized a computer allegedly used by individuals to coordinate and launch cyber attacks. The group claims its mission is to promote what it calls freedom of information on the internet, and members claim their actions are akin to street protests. Law enforcement and companies say the attacks are unlawful and cause costly damage, which I suppose is true. But then, I think I don't know that everyone seems to be up in arms about the anonymous people. When they get ticked off, they certainly do get ticked off, and they go and bring some big company down. But they must be a bunch of smarties, eh? Smart people. Maybe they should these people should employ them rather than trying to bash them. Yeah, so some of them have been chucked in the jail. The police haven't said that it added that the three had been trying to steal and publish what it called sensitive data. Hasn't said whether it was about or the data was the Sony stuff recently obtained.
Speaking of hackers and whatnot, there's a mob have just brought down the CIA website called Lulz Security, LULZ. So basically they're doing it for the lulz, which is geek speak for just having fun. So they brought down the CIA website site, and the whole, it's quite a big article, goes through all the credentials, everything that happened, all that sort of stuff. And funniest part of the whole package is, I've just got to find, actually I want to find the exact quote here. It's buried in this article somewhere.
You think the CIA would have a pretty good front page, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's like the FBI one. There's
hacker proof and all this sort of stuff.
If you actually go to their website, there's just a logo, and that's basically all that there is there.
Yeah, right.
Oh, come on. Where is this quote? Here we go. Mr. Duckland, who is, I don't know, I can't remember who he was, but he said, Lulz were doing about as intellectually interesting and important as a bunch of schoolboys boasting in the playground about who's got the hottest imaginary girlfriend.
Yeah, nice.
So this is the head of their CIA. I don't know if he's, media relations or whatever it is anyway, talking about a group that's just basically decimated their security, and he's comparing them to a bunch of schoolboys. Now, does this guy realize what happens when you tell people they're no good at something they've just done?
Well, that's right. They're going to go try better, aren't they?
Yeah. I think he's got from the old school of motivation.
Well, apparently the Monaro's in the chat room saying the CIA site's down at the moment.
Yeah, I heard it was down earlier on Twitter. There was a repost of the they sent out a thing on Twitter, and all it said was Tango down.
Tango
down. That was their
for the hackers. Operation.
That's what the hackers tweeted. Yeah, they
Tango down. Jeez.
Operation Tango.
Yeah. All right.
So,
my shares are up Jump on Empire Avenue.
Are they up again, are they?
Yeah, $1.50.
Oh, unreal. Lucky I jumped back on board.
It's gone up $4 in 24 hours. Go, boys.
Well, if you don't watch it, I'm going to dump your backside again if it drops a cent. All right, what else we got? We've got room for a couple more.
I think I started an article. Well, actually, there's an article I'll continue that I started last week about when they did the transition to the IPv6 for the trials.
Yes.
To fix the problem we have that we've run out of IP addresses, basically. And I can't find the stories right. It's not right in front of me like it should be for some reason. But basically, out of all the companies that over the 24 hours basically rolled out the IPv6 and trialed it, something like 96% of those companies have stayed with it. So the infrastructure is more or less well enough in place that it should be a relatively seamless transition. So it won't cost the millions and millions of dollars to commercial infrastructure that they were worried it may have cost. So we might be okay. And once IPv6 rolls out, it should actually help to speed up the internet a little bit as well, because there'll be much better DNS handling. So
that's good. Anything for faster internet.
That's it. So it can't be a bad thing.
Do we know when the NBN's come to the Gold Coast? No.
No, but I can tell you why Australians are paying higher prices for gadgets and technology.
We're idiots.
Yeah, pretty much.
That.
Yeah, why?
It's a really good article by The Australian, actually, and it goes into a lot of detail, a few behind the scenes I didn't really think about either. But there's a lot of stuff in here about retailers bitching because we're buying stuff online instead of from retailers. And I'm just reading some of the examples here that they've got. And, for example, the Lenovo X1 on the Australian Lenovo website at when the story was published was $3,428. The same one on the US Lenovo site was $1,191, which is actually 1,130 Australian. So that's 3 times the price.
And I think that article also went on to say something about that one of the comments, I think it was right down the bottom, one of the responses to the article, some guy bought something from China and it was something like 30% cheaper delivered to Australia direct from China rather than buying it from the shop. And he was saying that, forget the exchange rate, and also that China is actually closer to Australia than the US.
Yeah.
So freight-wise, it should be cheaper, but it's for some reason it's dearer over here.
Yeah. And they've got things like, for example, iTunes. They're selling the Beatles anthology album here for $21, or they're selling in the States for $13, which is like $12, $12.20 or something in our money. So we're actually paying $9 more for an album.
That's right.
Even a single track is
even if you put the exchange rate back down to 75 cents, right, instead of the $1.05 it is now, we're still paying $6 or $7 more.
Yeah,
bring it down to 50 cents, and we're on par. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. And what I found funny was basically the excuse of the few sites that they did or the few American places they did hear back from. Like, I think Apple was one of them. And basically their argument is we just have a fixed amount we charge regardless of the exchange rate, so that if the exchange rate goes down, we still charge the same amount. And the guy's like, well, hang on a minute. All that means is when the exchange rate goes down, you make more money.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, look, Apple's a special case because they do a lot of research, and what they do is they put the prices there based on what they think the market can bear. And because Australians are very conditioned to getting bent over in in technology prices and in a lot of other goods as well, Apple just go, well, you know what? That's what the market can bear. That's what we're going to charge.
Yeah.
Now,
which is why I buy so much stuff from overseas.
That's right. Now, if the market decided, no, I'm not going to buy your stuff because I'm going to the States next month and I'm going to get it for $400 cheaper.
That's right.
Then they adjust their pricing. Now, in all fairness, they have dropped the price, for example, of their their a lot of their MacBook Pros, their laptops too. They're nearly comparable with the States. Not quite, but they have dropped.
Yeah, but that's because they made so much profit over the last 12 months.
Well, no, it's got nothing to do with that. They're going to make money regardless.
Do you think that but also on the say the flip side or behind the scenes side of the coin, that it costs more to operate in Australia?
Well, that's it. Because remember too, the guys in the Apple Store in the States get paid very little compared to what we have to pay our retail shop staff. Because a shop, because you've got minimum wage here that's a lot higher than the minimum wage standards in America.
That doesn't do diddly squat to online prices. It's irrelevant because you don't have staff.
I know.
Most
I know that
stuff's drop shipped from the States anyway.
They cannot have their online store prices cheaper than their retail prices. It's got to be parity, or else no one would go to their retail stores. In which case, they'd lose bucket loads of money.
Everything will. I mean, I will pay a little bit more for something in a retail store. Not huge amounts more, but a bit more if I can walk into a retail store, get good customer service, get the answers I need, get what I want sorted there. I'll quite happily pay a little bit more for that experience.
Yeah,
but the problem is
you generally do get an Apple Store. I won't pay. For example, I will not buy an Apple product out of Harvey Norman because I want to plonk down $2,000 and no idiot wants to serve me. I'll go to the Apple Store and plonk down $2,000 because I know as soon as I walk in the door, someone's going to say, "Can I help you?"
Yeah, true. And look, and also they've probably figured the way that that like Apple globally, they probably want to make say X amount profit on their over their expenses, if you know what I mean, like X amount on over their expenses. So therefore, in America, that percentage is probably lower than what it would be in Australia because of the expenses in Australia.
I don't know, but
to give you an example, when Microsoft Office lowered their prices, or when the new Office came out, they reduced their prices in the States. Microsoft released a press statement saying, "We won't lower our prices in Australia because some people who purchase this product are eligible for an education rebate."
Yeah, but that's some people. Everybody is.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's why they didn't lower their prices, because a few people might get a discount that the government pays anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if that'd be a big factor.
That's a cop-out. That's just Microsoft.
It is.
You know what? I'm not going to drop the price.
But they're not the only ones that have done that. I was just using those as an example.
Oh, right, sure, yeah, I understand. Now, the other thing with the Apple Store that you were talking about, Glenn, is that with their stores, they've got a formula they work at that each of those stores have to make a certain amount of money per square meter.
Yes. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And if your costs per square meter are higher in Australia, which they are, and Japan,
right. Yes.
Right? In the UK, because the rents and the real estate's much higher, then yes, the product, what they charge over there
more.
may be lower,
Yes.
higher than not what they charge in the States, because the total cost of running an Apple Store in the States, when you include wages and all this stuff, is a lot less than Australia, because they're not paying floor staff $50,000 a year like we are here.
Yeah, but they're not paying rent here. Because you get somebody like... No, they don't. You get somebody like Apple goes to your...
Paying rent here? What are you talking about?
No. If you go to somewhere like a supermarket, for example, and Apple rocks up to the managing, the company that manages that supermarket, they say, "We will bring you 25 million customers a year," for example, right? We're not paying to be part of... We're not paying floor space. We're not paying rent. We'll quite happily establish here.
Bill, no, you're wrong. Yeah, they actually do. They have to. They have to buy.
They don't.
They have to buy shelf space. It's a common thing, mate.
Don't.
I worked in retail. I was an assistant buyer for Grace Brothers when Michael Grace was still running the joint, and they didn't give a rat's ass how powerful you were. If you wanted front and center, you paid for it. That's simple.
Maybe they did.
I've heard.
I know of all the stores that don't.
The only shop, if you could call it a shop, that I've heard of getting some sort of freebie is the post office. That's the only one I've heard.
Which is funny because post offices are actually generally, these days anyway, they're generally all what do I call them? Not actually owned by Australian Post.
No, well, there are some of those little contracted out ones, but I think back in the day that everyone used to go to the post office, so. Yeah. That's why there was a jaw card, but I don't know. We'll have to we'll just have to take what we want to believe with that one. All right. Well, I'm going to try and get Eric back. He's fallen off the Skype.
It's
So
semi-connected.
he's I can see that the bubbles going up on his thing. Oh, this, hang on, where is he? This is what we've got. Where? Hang on. Oh no, he's dropped right out. There he is. Nothing. All right. So what we might do is right at the end of the show, we're just going to have a break, and we'll be back in a second. Rightio. What's Eric doing? Where's Skype? Skype.
I wonder if Skype's working out again.
Doodle-oo. Diddly-doo. So what do we got going in here? Americans in a slump, so they price accordingly. Yes, I think any business is going to try and jack the cost up and then bring it back down, to where it sits that most people, where they think it's fair, or where they think it's fair, not us.
But I mean, you've got to. You can do that, but in today's time and age, where we have vast amounts of information available to us and the opportunity to purchase online, you can't afford to have disparity everywhere. You pick one price everywhere.
Yeah, I suppose, because like the contract, say, as you said, with the Beatles, like the contract would be, okay, we're going to give you $1 for every, or so they can say, we're going to give you $5 for every album sold. So so it doesn't matter where it comes from or what country or whatever, they're going to get $5 for every album. So
no, that's right, exactly.
Yeah, so then that sole driving factor would be the exchange rate.
Yeah, exactly. Which basically means theoretically it should be the same price in every country.
Mm.
Yeah.
It
should actually be 10 cents cheaper here, or $1 cheaper here, or whatever it is, than it is in the States, because of the way our over parity dollar. But it means that if we went down to 50 cents, then we're, double the price.
Yeah. All right. So
I got a thing from Telstra today. They're going to upgrade all HTC Desires to Android 2.3.
All right. Let's try. Hang on. Eric, how do I get him back in here?
Yeah, Frosty, and that's the way it should be done. I mean, pick a common currency, whether you pick Australian dollars, US dollars, euros, whatever. Pick a currency and sell it in that currency. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having automatic conversion on your webpage, that'll swap it over. But, yeah.
All right, so let's just pick it up from where we were. Now that... Eric, you got audio? No audio. No.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Yep. All right. So we'll just pick it straight up from there, I think. I think we should...
Where were we up to before my connection dropped out?
Just at the end of that story. We're just going to sign off.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
See you later.
Oh, not yet. We're not recording. Hang on. Hang on.
Go on, get out.
Okay, so... And we'll go... Yeah, so sorry about that little break while we got Eric back for the farewells. So just in time because Skype was playing up right at the end. So aren't we lucky? Thank you, Microsoft. Okay, they must have had Jack of us talking about Apple. Yeah, no, we're talking about Apple, so they got stuff. You pull the plug. All right, so that's all we've got time for episode 243. Thanks, Eric. We'll talk to you next week.
Enjoyable as usual, and remember, lounge and listeners. AussieTechheads.com.au. Click on the Audible banner. Have a look at some books there. You'll love it.
That's right, exactly. And we'll see you next week as well.
Shall do, thank you. And remember we're going to move TBT to Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday nights, hopefully, if we remember. And if you're interested in being a co-host, drop us a line.
Yep, for sure. Good stuff. All right. So all done. That's been an early night for a change. So that's great. All right. Thanks everyone. Thanks for the pod listeners. Is that what you're called? Thanks for the listeners. Thanks to the guys in the lounge. Too many to mention tonight, which is great to see. And we'll see you all next week, hopefully, for episode 244. Until then, it's good night from all of us. Good night.
You guys.
See ya.